Democrats win on health care, environment, women's rights, respect for... But on those issues, I bet you that are the big ones that they vote on more: crime, immigration, wars, economy, corruption. So that's the takeaway there.
The only thing the Democratic Party stands for today is opposition to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I just read Kamala Harris's new book, 107 Days.
No, you didn't.
I did?
No, you did. When they ask who has a better plan, Republicans crushing it on crime, immigration, wars, the economy, even corruption. Democrats win by 2 points on respect for democracy. Now, some of this is just because people are fucking stupid.
All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most unintentionally hilarious political cell phones in recent memory. Kamala Harris. Yes, that Kamala Harris just released a new book titled 107 Days. And let's just say, it's less of a memoir and more of a masterclass in blame shifting. But the real highlight here isn't just Kamala's latest literary pity project. It's Bill Maher absolutely ripping it apart with the kind of sharp, sarcastic precision that only he can deliver. Maher's reaction? Brutal, unfiltered, and honestly, completely deserved. So here's the setup. Democrats keep winning on their usual safe talking points: health care, the environment, women's rights, and that old favorite, protecting democracy. But when it comes to the real vote-deciding issues, crime, immigration, the economy, corruption, they get crushed. Republicans are dominating the topics that actually shape people's everyday lives. Yet Democrats still can't figure out why their message doesn't connect. Maher doesn't hold back. He points out that the only thing the Democratic Party seems to stand for anymore is being against Donald Trump. That's it. No fresh ideas, no solid policies, just a tired slogan, "We're not Trump." But here's the problem: you can't build a movement on outrage alone. Eventually, people want results. Enter Kamala Harris, who apparently thought the best way to explain her failure was to write a book about it. 107 Days sounds like a political thriller, right? Nope. It's more like Everyone's to Blame But Me, the Kamala Harris story. Maher shredded that title immediately. He said 107 Days isn't a tale of resilience, it's a reflection of Kamala's victim mindset. The whole tone screams, "It wasn't my fault. I just didn't have enough time." And Maher being Maher, he calls it exactly like it is. Kamala had $1.5 billion in campaign funds, a media that worshipped her every word, and 75 million people ready to vote for any living being who wasn't Trump. Yet she still managed to lose. That's not bad luck. That's political malpractice.
Perpetuating victimhood, especially when it's false, is not a great advertisement for leadership. Kamala Harris's new memoir of the 24 election is called 107 Days, but it should have been called Everyone Sucks But Me. 107 Days is a victim's title because, get it, she only had 107 days to win. Yeah, and $1.5 billion, and a built-in army of about 75 million people who'd vote for any human-adjacent life form that wasn't Trump.
Maher jokes that Kamala's campaign collapse reads like a bad romantic comedy. Biden didn't step down soon enough. Gavin Newsom ignored my texts. America just wasn't ready for me. She even blames not getting Pete Buttigieg as her running mate. Really? That's your takeaway? Imagine losing a presidential election and saying, "If only I'd had the right gay best friend, everything would have been different." Maher wasn't buying it, and honestly, neither should anyone else.
In 107 days, nothing is ever Kamala's fault. Biden lets her down by not stepping down sooner. Pouty face emoji. Gavin Newsom, he was asked for his endorsement, but texted, "Hiking, we'll call back." But then never did. And then he didn't even ask her to prom. America itself lets Kamala down by not being ready for the running mate she really wanted, Pete Buttigieg. So she's stuck with the Home Depot paint salesman. And the rest is herstory. Poor Kamala. We made her the star of a rom-com and didn't even give her a gay best friend.
But Kamala's book goes even deeper into denial. She actually blames Biden for hanging onto power too long, throwing her own former boss under the bus. Then she turns around and blames the American public for not being ready for a female president. Because of course, when you fail, it's never your fault, it's everyone else's. And get this, she even recounts a dramatic scene from election night where her aides had to peel the words "Madam President" off cupcakes before handing them out. Yes, that's a real paragraph in her book. Maher roasted that scene mercilessly, calling it Bridget Jones runs for president. You can practically see him rolling his eyes as he said it.
She writes that on election night, when it was clear she lost, an aide peeled the words "Madam President" off the cupcakes before handing them out. Oh, geez, that's like a scene from Bridget Jones Runs for President, for Christ's sake.
Here's the truth. Kamala didn't lose because of cupcakes or timing. She lost because she doesn't come across as genuine. Maher nailed that point too. He explained how Democrats, especially women in politics, are stuck in an impossible double bind. They're told to be strong but not cold, relatable but not emotional, feminine but not too feminine, so what we get instead are these carefully polished political robots. People who smile on cue, laugh on cue, and fall apart under real pressure. They're so terrified of being seen as weak that they forget real strength comes from authenticity, from being human. Instead, we get staged empathy and pre-scripted sincerity.
Ladies, I know this isn't fair, but we're all always running against the worst cliche of who people think we are. Women Democrats can't look oversensitive or preachy or unable to laugh at themselves. They also can't look silly, like Gretchen Whitmer did, trying to hide in the Oval Office. They have to look brave and strong.
And it's not just Kamala. Maher also took aim at The View, especially Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts. Apparently, when Jimmy Kimmel was attacked by Trump, all the big-name male comedians rushed to defend him. But on The View? Crickets. For 5 days, total silence. The so-called queens of outspokenness suddenly went quiet. Why? Rumor had it their show might be next on the chopping block.
Isn't it a good look for the woman party that all the guys were speaking out for Jimmy Kimmel when Trump went after him, except on the woman show, where for 5 days the outspoken hosts were suddenly as quiet as a geisha.
Suddenly, their bold opinions vanished faster than CNN's ratings. But as soon as Kimmel was confirmed safe, poof, their voices came back. Maher called it perfectly, their courage only exists when it's safe to speak up. And he's right. That's the problem with so much of modern media, performative courage and manufactured outrage. Everyone's a warrior until there's something real to lose. Whoopi later tried to clap back, saying, "Did you really think we weren't going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel?" Maher just smirked and replied, yeah, because you didn't. For 5 days. Classic Maher.
On the 5th day, they rose and said, "No one silences us." No one had to. You silenced yourself. Whoopi Goldberg continued, "Did you all really think we weren't going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel?" No, I thought you would, but then you didn't. 5 days? Talk about needing extra time to get ready. And if you can't take a breath and laugh at that, you're making my...
He exposed exactly what most people already sense, that these TV pundits and woke activists love to act like fearless truth-tellers, but the moment the spotlight turns on them, they go silent. They helped create the outrage mob, and now they live in fear of it. And speaking of fear, Maher pointed out the Democrats' biggest one, losing power. Recent polls show Trump's numbers dipping slightly among certain groups, Latinos, black voters, even some white voters. But despite that, he's still dominating the key issues that matter most. Economy trumps up. Immigration trumps up. Foreign policy trumps up. Even on corruption, of all things, he's winning.
They ask who has a better plan. Republicans crushing it on crime, immigration, wars, the economy, even corruption. Democrats win by 2 points on respect for democracy. Now, some of this is just because people are stupid.
And that's the big takeaway here. The Democrats have every opportunity. They're facing a Trump whose popularity has softened, yet they still can't score. They're fumbling the easiest political ball in history because they refuse to face reality.
Blacks, they're down 15 points with whites. And when whites say, "You're not hip anymore," ooh. And yet, in the other poll, on issues, Trump still winning. So this is your big opportunity, Democrats. He's down in the numbers, and you still can't score.
Instead of adapting, they're stuck in an echo chamber, preaching to each other about climate equity and pronouns while the average American is struggling to pay rent and fill up the gas tank. It's tone-deaf politics on steroids. Kamala's book is just the latest symptom, a long therapy session where she refuses to take responsibility.
Democrats win on healthcare, environment, women's rights, respect for, but on those issues, I bet you that are the big ones that they vote on more: crime, immigration, wars, economy, corruption. So that's the takeaway there.
The only thing the Democratic Party stands for today is opposition to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I just read Kamala Harris's new book, 107 Days.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Maher even pointed out how she's suddenly pretending to support women's sports again. Something she actively undermined as vice president. He called it what it is: political revisionism. She's rewriting her own history to look better, hoping voters forget her record. But people remember the awkward laughter in interviews, the word salads, the do-not-come moment at the border, the forced charisma that made even her supporters cringe. Maher summed it up perfectly: the more people got to know Kamala, the less they liked her. That's not sexism, that's honesty. She could have had 700 days instead of 107 and still lost, because people can spot fake from a mile away. Maher also mocked how absurdly long American elections are. In other countries, campaigns last a month. You state your case, make your pitch, and let voters decide. Here, we suffer through 2 years of ads, empty promises, and pandering speeches.
They call an election, and they have an election in a month.
Yeah, ignore the influence of money. We should do that. Right?
That's going to be hard to get rid of. They've tried. But, no, it's like you don't need 100 days. You need 107 days. You tell people your plan. This is what I am for. This is my thing. You're selling something. You're selling a vacuum cleaner. If I'm selling a vacuum cleaner, I'll tell you why I think it's best. Am I going to tell you every goddamn day for 2 years? Did I tell you about the attachment that gets under the... Yeah, you did. You told me 1,000 times.
Maher's final point was devastatingly simple. Democrats aren't losing because of Trump. They're losing because of themselves. Instead of addressing real concerns, inflation, border security, crime, they're obsessed with identity politics and cancel culture. They're too busy scolding comedians and writing think pieces to realize their base is slipping away. And Kamala Harris? She's the perfect symbol of that failure, not because she's a woman or a person of color, but because she represents everything wrong with today's Democratic brand: style over substance, spin over sincerity, and blame over accountability. In the end, Maher didn't just roast Kamala. He held up a mirror to an entire movement that's lost touch with real people. His message was clear. Until Democrats rediscover honesty, humility, and common sense, they'll keep writing books about their losses. Instead of celebrating wins, so yeah, Kamala can keep pretending 107 days wasn't enough. But the truth is, she could have had 107 days and it wouldn't have mattered. Because no amount of time can sell a product no one's buying. And that's the real punchline. So, what do you think? Was Maher too harsh, or did he just say what everyone's been thinking? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Because let's face it, politics might be a circus, but at least we can laugh while watching tea burn. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.